Life throws the unexpected at you. Leadership isn't just about titles, it's about resilience. Today's guest has built a business and a mission around guiding people through the unplanned challenges that shape who we become. From leadership to life strategy, Brandon Moore knows what it takes to keep moving forward, even when the road changes beneath your feet. Brandon Moore is the founder of Motivated Minds Consulting, where he helps leaders and individuals navigate life's toughest seasons and come out stronger. Known for his passionate views on leadership, personal growth, and overcoming hardship, Brandon brings a unique blend of lived experiences and practical wisdom to every conversation. He's been featured on shows like Grief, Let's Talk About It with Tony Lynch, and today he's here to share the insights that have shaped his mission. Welcome to Attention is Currency.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it, Daniel.
Very welcome. We're excited to have you on the show. And the first question, we'll get straight into it. What first drew you to leadership as a passion and career focus?
Well, funny thing is, I've always played sports since I was growing up. So, um, without knowing the backdrop of playing sports and what that actually does to you as you mature and as you grow up, I've always stayed playing sports. Played in college. I actually started working. I was probably working when I was like 14 years, 13, 14 years old. As I became an adult, somebody asked me to be a supervisor, and that literally is how the career part started in regards to being in leadership. I've always been in a position where I've always kind of felt out the crowd and then kind of assert myself. And sometimes it happened to be where I'm leading, I guess, or kind of not I don't want to say dictating, but kind of taking charge in a sense. Funny story. I remember I had jury duty when I was about. I want to say right when I became legal to get jury to have jury duty, and I remember I was in my other jurors that were with me were they were older people. I want to say maybe 40s, 50s, 60s, and we were in the room and everybody was going back and forth, and I don't know what got on, but I just said, hey, let's stop. Let's stop. Okay, let's do this. Let's just regroup. And I literally just started to just shoot out some things, and we went from being one of those chaotic jury rooms to an organized one, and then we went ahead and got the job done. But leadership is something that I've always been in, from coaching. And yeah, I've been a basketball coach, a trainer, a life coach, supervisor. My current profession now, my 9 to 5, I'm a plant manager now. So I've always kind of been in that leadership role, just because I just feel like God put me on this earth to do something, and maybe be in leadership and helping people is what my purpose is.
And you've said leadership isn't just for the workplace. How does that show up in everyday life?
Oh man, I was just having this conversation the other day, and I was telling a buddy of mine that you know in every aspect of life, you're either a leader or you're a developer. And what I mean by that is leadership is just not something that comes with a title. Leadership is something like what they say, like character is what you're doing when nobody's watching. Leadership is like, are you trying to do the right thing all the time and people are watching? Are you giving sound advice based on the situation, but also based off like what is right? Are you a servant leader? That's kind of a big thing for me, is servant leadership. you know I think leader is something that in your everyday life, people watch you. They watch what you do, they hear what you say, and that's kind of how I look at it. Is it's not just about the title. It's about what are you doing in your position, to help? Are you guiding people down a positive road that's gonna be good for them. When you wake up, are you better today than you were yesterday? Again, we're either leaders or you're some type of developer. And if you're a developer, then you're still a leader because you got to be able to lead something to help develop it, in a way. So
It goes nowhere without leaders in all areas. And what's the biggest misconception people have about what makes a great leader?
I think the misconception is that they're in charge, right? That they're the boss. They're the person that tells everybody what to do. And that's not what it is. A leader is, you have quiet leaders. You can have leaders that literally you watch what they do and they're doing things the right way. They may not talk a lot, they may not say a lot, but they're doing the things the right way. Some leaders are vocal. They're gonna they're gonna act a certain way and they're gonna tell you to do it and they're gonna show you how and then things like that. Then there's also leaders that really would tell you, I don't want to be called a leader. I'm doing what I know is right and what's supposed to be done. I have a guy at work now that people ask him, "Hey, what side are you on? Whose side are you on?" And his response is great. Is I'm on the side of right.
Yeah,
I'm on the side of right. That right there is a big thing of leadership, and it's also accountability. People forget. Just because you are in a leadership position doesn't mean you can't be held accountable for actions that you have. So I think that's the misconception, is that it's like they don't have to be held accountable for anything, or they're the boss and they just tell people what to do.
yeah. Well, I for one, I love leading my teams in my business, and I always find that it's definitely not about being the boss, and it's not about being, I guess, their friends as such. Although we get along really well with the team, but there's just so many more levels to it. It's about setting the right guidance in there
Hmm.
for everyone to win, and in that team around that. Can you share a moment in life where things took a turn? Because this is around your other work, around being grounded in that. So, can you share a moment in life where things took a turn you didn't see coming?
Well, I will tell you something that's very recent. I got my new position August 22nd. I started that was day one, August 22nd of 2020, last year. And so it's actually coming up on a year in a couple weeks. I just had to peek at my calendar. So yeah, this is coming up on a year, a couple weeks. Um, so I'm in training, and November 12th, um, our plant had an explosion.
Oh,
Completely changed everybody's life, right? Um, you don't you don't see that coming. Or just
yeah,
by just saying
yeah,
explosion,
yeah,
you don't see that coming,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, nobody intentionally does it. It's one of those
It just
things.
happens.
Yeah,
Um, so that alone, that
yeah,
alone, just I mean, it's even hard to talk about just because you know I was in the building
yeah,
and I got blown, and the power of the explosion blew me on the wall. My colleagues, things like that. So that was something that you don't see coming, that completely changes your life
yeah,
and just changes your scope of
yeah,
things. Like, you start to rethink things, but then you start to put things in perspective, right? And then it's a matter of, where do I go now?
yeah,
Right? Like, I was talking to my wife and we were talking about, leadership, and I said, my next focus, or what I'm gonna add to the focuses I already have, is leading when you go through trauma,
yeah. And
leading when the leader is traumatized. Like, I mean, which is essentially what's taking place now. You know,
I guess
it's
we get so complacent in the day to days, and we definitely don't expect things to happen. And yeah, and
yeah,
you still have to turn up and go and keep going, essentially.
exactly, exactly. So it's just kind of one of the things is how does the leader lead when they are also going through trauma? You know, um, and so, but that's just an example of something that has happened. That's like, wow, my life was going one direction, and in a matter of a second,
Well, this is yeah. Well,
completely
this is
different.
it's a good lead into the next question is because how do you personally stay grounded when faced with uncertainty? Because I guess now you've got additional uncertainty that you didn't have before because we all know anything could happen at any time, and that's
It's one of those situations where I believe in a very, very powerful God, and I feel like that I believe that things happen for a reason. We may not know, but things happen for a reason. I feel like that if he felt this is it, then it's gonna be it. There's nothing we can do about it. Right. But if he feels like that everything that happens has a way of drawing you closer to him. So how I stayed grounded was, yes, did I think that I was gone? That I was gonna die that day? Absolutely. But when I started moving and I was able to get up and carry people outside and proceed to do what I felt needed to be done, the 911, the talking to the firemen, the talking to police, to trying to get a count on people, to doing the best job that I could do, I knew I was here for something else. Like I must be here for a deeper reason. That's what keeps me grounded. Being able to call my daughter, talk to my wife, talk to my parents. Uh, and I'll give you an example. So I had moved away from Kentucky I want to say I've probably been gone for maybe 15 years or so. And funny thing is, I come back and get this job, right? And not a lot of people knew I was back into the city. This is the city I grew up in. This is a city that knows me. And one of the firemen that came up, there was three people I saw. One fireman, I actually um, knew him from college days and hadn't seen him. And since then, another fireman I seen, we keep in contact with each other, through Facebook, Facebook stuff like that. Hadn't seen him in years, and he went to the school that I coached at, and he was a coach's there as well. Big old hug. Then there was a policeman I saw who one of my best friends, is married to his sister. Those three showed up, gave me the biggest hug. We cried a little bit, whatever the case may be. Thank God you're okay. All this stuff. And when I was able to do that and talk to my parents and talk to my wife and talk to my daughter and respond to people, I'm okay, and all that type of stuff, then I knew, I was here for a different reason. Now, yeah, we did have some fatalities. That doesn't take away from helping you to be grounded, right? So, you take those opportunities and you say, okay, yeah, life goes on, but man, this is going to be a rocky road. So what did I do? I showed up the next day, and then the next day after that, and then the next day after that, and then the next day after that. So you know, it's being grounded in situations like that is hard. It takes a lot out of you. But for me, as I understood the God that I serve and the God that I believe in,
yeah.
and that's what helped me along with my family.
No, I can understand from some personal experiences myself. I'll keep on going, but We wanted to, yeah, also talk about mindset and what role does mindset play in getting through the hard seasons? Because we're going through your
Oh
work and things. Yeah.
man, you have to be open. You have to be open to understanding that no day is going to be perfect. And I think sometimes that we get in such a routine of your day and such a routine of your week that we forget about that, right? We literally forget that no day is going to be perfect, right? And
Mhm.
so when you kind of go into that with that mentality and you understand, like, my job is just to impact what I can impact, to communicate where needed, where communication is needed, to hold accountable what needs to be held accountable, to make sure, obviously the first thing is to make sure my people go home safe. You know, that aspect of it, yeah, I mean, well, I would have a perfect day, but there's no day that's just going to be perfect. Even some of my clients, my life, when I'm life coaching, I tell them, the biggest problem that I feel that people have, Daniel, is that they want everything to be perfect. And the minute that they can get into your head that there is nothing perfect. Now, there may be things that may be hard to find fault in or to find a reason why something is wrong or whatever the case may be. Nothing is nothing is perfect, and sometimes take that pressure off your back. Take the pressure off your back, right? Personally, be better today than you were yesterday. Impact the people that you can impact. Be a servant leader for the day and smile and understand that, hey, you live to fight another day, or today's not perfect.
Yeah, well, this is where your story is really inspiring because you're not claiming to because a lot of time people enter your sort of space and go into coaching and they try to make up their background like it was all just stars and
Oh,
spotlights and everything.
oh
And
no.
that's where it's great. And that's where it comes to us. What inspired you to launch Motivated Minds Consulting?
Man, so I
Yeah.
want to say a couple years ago, 2023 maybe, a friend of mine came to me and he was helping this small business out. And I kind of forgot exactly what he was helping with, but he just needed some advice on the people side, and he gave us some advice. He goes back, he takes it, and it works, right? So apparently, this owner is like, "Oh my god, that was awesome!" Da, da, da. And so I didn't think anything of it. And at that time, I'd always kind of in the back of my mind thought you should be some type of consultant. Like, you eventually want to work on your own. You eventually want to work on your own schedule, your own time frame. You want to do speaking engagements. You want to do podcasts. You want to do all this type of stuff. When COVID hit, I started my podcast. So that was one check that I'd already checked. And I didn't really know what direction I was going. I just launched that thing, man. I tell you, my first episode was recorded in my truck. So I just went and just started talking. Because I wanted to help people during that time, but at the same time, I was helping myself because I was also falling into a COVID depression and all this type of stuff. So he's coming to me a couple years ago, and so I was like, man, I would love to. So I was like, hey, man, if you find me, I was joking with him, but it apparently did it. I was like, find me a couple clients and tell them a charge, da 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 da. He goes, okay. Didn't think twice about it, Daniel, at all. Didn't think twice about it at all. Now, mind you, I'm always in leadership, so my mind is always going. So I'm always taking notes. I'm always just thought process, just what do I think certain things are, and I'm always reading. So he comes back and he has a couple clients. One was life coaching, and which I got my life coaching certification during COVID. So I became Six Sigma certified during COVID. So I was like, well, let me use them now. So did that, and then the business did that. And I was like, man, this is actually pretty cool. And so we started talking, and I was like, man, what if we started a business? Like, what, I was like, I don't know how successful it's going to be, but what if we became like legit? And he was like, yeah, I'm all for it. Let's do it. So Motivated minds came up with that because we were two young brothers who have degrees and we were motivated. Honestly, we was like, let's just put it together. Motivated minds, and so that's how it got started. And then he went through some really really traumatic personal stuff. So um, I told him, I said, you just take the time you need to deal with that, and I will try my hardest to make this thing as successful as it can be. Um, and so then that's how I got started. And so and there's always that passion of helping people and helping companies and just whoever may be that needs help. And for me, my focuses are like the intro was perfect. My focuses are, leadership development, life coaching. I even on the work on the production on the manufacturing sector, like do things like that. Like now I'm building up to where I'm trying to get. I have two other people that want to join as well, but they're going to be more on the reliability management part, the EHS, environmental health and safety. So we're we're trying to cover various sectors, but that's how I got started, man. Just wanting to help, and
Yeah,
then
well, it's
realizing
that in perfect action, and you're living and breathing everything that you're getting your clients to.
exactly. So yeah, that's how I started. And then just wanting to help and wanting to use the education and my experiences to help people.
And how do you help clients identify and work towards their goals when they're starting from a place of struggle?
That's hard. And how I do it is a lot of self reflection. Like I don't have a lot of workbooks. I don't do a lot of handouts and stuff like that because there are times where when I was in therapy, um, that was a turnoff to me. Like just give me a workbook or give me this sheet that I needed to fill out. Like, oh, I'm here to talk. Like, I'm here to talk to you. Like, and now, there are some pre-applications that I take, some just an info sheet and why you're here to stuff like that. But after that, that goes. And some of it is self-reflection. Like your first couple of visits with me, literally, or conversations with me, may be just self-reflection. It literally may be just me either in a Zoom conversation like this or phone conversation, and I may do an intro. Hey, how you doing? How's your day? Da, 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 and I may just be quiet and kind of let it happen organically. And then once you get people to identify their struggle or their let me say that their base, their foundation of their struggle, then you can go into it. Because you got to remember, I'm not a therapist. Life coaching is something that is to help guide you through, help you navigate through. Now, there are times where, we do get personal, but it's all to help guide you through. Um, same thing for consulting. It's actually the same thing. It's to present you these ideas so you can put these in your toolbox, your life toolbox, as I call them. So when struggles or things like that come up, you're able to pull them out of your toolbox and use them, and it helps you. I had obviously confidentiality reasons, but I had one client who, um, great guy, awesome guy, and something as simple as keeping a picture of his dog close to him helped him. You know, um, but although suffered from other things, but that was something that really really helped him and helped him. So
Uh,
other people,
I
it's
just look over there if I'm feeling the struggle. He's down there. So,
that's
so
awesome,
I
man.
can relate. He's,
mine is sleep as well. So I get it, but and it's small things. It's I've had other clients where it's within your hour, take 6 minutes or 5 to 6 minutes and just get up from your desk and go walk. And when you're walking, just have a phrase or something to say. Some of the stuff people may be like, "Oh, how's that going to work?" Da, da, da. It all depends on what you're going through at that time. Because sometimes when you're going through stuff, you really don't know what'll work until you actually try it. You're like, "Man, you know what? That did work." You know what I'm saying? Like that really did work.
well, at least by
So yeah,
booking with you, they're taking action towards
yeah.
that as well. It's yeah. And for someone listening who feels stuck, what's the first small leadership habit they can start today?
So if they're stuck in leadership,
Well, if they're feeling stuck in leadership, would be a good example.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, some of that is gauging the room. What is your situation at work? Let's slate this to your job, right? So you're feeling stuck in the position that you're in. Gauge the room. Do some research. So what would be your next position that you would go if you follow the ladder, or if you follow the ladder, and then find out, how what do you need to do? Most of the times it's education. Sometimes most times it's education. Sometimes it's timing. Um, but I always tell people keep showing up. Like
yeah,
keep showing up, and one thing while you're showing up, understand your value, your self value. And if you feel like your self value is that, okay, I can wait another year or two and then try to move up, or whatever the case may be, then so be it. If not, it's okay to look elsewhere. You don't have to feel trapped. It's okay to look elsewhere. And sometimes it's going to your leadership though, right? It's going to your leadership and having those kind of challenging conversations. Because you also have to understand this. You may go to your leadership person, let's say the person over you. Well, that may be the position that he's like, hold up, you
yeah,
want my position. A true leader should not only want you to take his position, but to do better than him or her. So there should be no problem with them giving you, hey, listen, this is what you need to do. You need to go back to school. You need to get this degree, because the only way they're going to move you up into this position is if you have a degree. And so it's the same thing as if you're doing a life coaching, right? It's getting that self-reflection and then coming up with a plan on how you can move. If they're feeling stuck in life, then just when they think they're stuck, they're not stuck, right? It's like quicksand, right? It's like, you heard the old adage, the quicker you move in quicksand, the deeper you go, the more trapped you get. Well, some of that is when you feel stuck, you're not stuck. You're just navigating through quicksand. And it may be quicksand you don't even know you're in, but you're navigating through it, and you got to go through it slowly, right? Until you get that big old branch that you can hold on to. And then when you get that big old branch and you have that solid hold, then you can start moving a little quicker, not too fast, but a little quicker and a little deeper. Your steps get a little deeper. You have a little bit more purpose, right? And then until you get out of quicksand, and then you got a quicksand, then you proceed.
yeah. Well, I think today's world is very different. I guess reflecting on what you said about the leader should be wanting you to rise up to that position.
Hmm.
In the past, probably our parents and grandparents' generation, you sort of hit a point, and if you're middle management, you're middle management, and you're down here as a worker for your entire career.
Yes.
But the world doesn't work like that anymore because everyone wants everyone wants to get better. Yeah, well, not everyone, but most people want to excel, especially
Right.
for the ranks. And how do you coach people to lead when I guess they're aspiring, but they're not officially leadership yet?
Well, some of that is a matter of what you're doing, right? Like what you're trying to lead, but what role are you trying to lead from, right? Because sometimes when people are trying to lead, it comes off different, right? So you just got to kind of figure out, like, what position are they trying to lead from, and when they're trying to lead, how are they communicating it? Those are the two factors that I would kind of coach somebody on this. What role are you trying to lead from, and then how are you communicating that, and are they responding to your communication?
Yeah. But yeah. Well, I get people do need to assess for themselves because not everyone's a because I get you and I have a similar thing where whenever we went to work for other people, we sort of ended up in management positions anyway.
Right.
And that
Right.
always happened for me because on occasions in my early 20s, I was a bouncer and I'd be supervisor within the first couple of weeks. And then I went back in my mid 20s and I would just take on a basic security role and just work it. But then I was security manager within the first few
Yes,
weeks. So
yes.
I think some people need to consider it and self-assess a bit more, but some people would just have that natural ability. And
Right.
normally I'd be put there because I just naturally gravitated to because I wasn't because I think well there's all different types of leaders, but I was never egotistic about the role. It just
Hmm.
I just felt like I had more of a gauge of what needed to be done.
Right, right. No, I completely understand that. Completely understand that.
And how can leaders create environments where people feel safe to fail and grow?
Well, as a leader, that's your job.
It
Like,
is.
that's your job is to have an environment where your constituents, your people, whatever word that you use, feel safe. And that's feeling safe from failure. That's feeling safe from success. That's feeling safe from these feelings and these thoughts that you have. You have to, because you're like the gatekeeper,
Yeah.
right? You're like the gatekeeper. You're like the person that, regardless of what they say about you, right? You're the person that they have to come to you. They have to make sure everything is okay with you. So given your position, like my position is plant manager, like I know every day I'm not the most light person, or whatever case may be. That's not my job. My job is not to go in and be the most light. My job is to go in and make sure that we are operating as efficient as we can, that our people are safe, that we have these we're top quality, we're this, we're that. Now you build those relationships as you go, right, to where you do become that light person and things like that. However, you know you I believe that we have a this personality amongst our group of people, to where it is comfortable. You can talk to me about anything. Now, whether or not they choose to, that's on them. That's on them, whether or not they choose to or not. But my job is to make the atmosphere, the culture, as loving and as family oriented and family feel and comfortable and safe. And that's your job when you're in when you're in leadership.
Yeah. Well, I always like to reflect that to the saying, if you don't create the culture creates itself.
And that's risky.
It is. It
and
definitely
that, and
is.
that, and that, and that's risky.
And I'm
Yes.
sure we've all worked in positions that are like that, it's just been left to uh, uh, just chance, essentially.
Yeah.
Hopefully, everyone does the
Absolutely.
right thing. Hopefully, everyone is working well. It's yeah, but it's how do you balance professional leadership with personal life challenges?
Well, that's a good one, because you try to keep things at work. I think that's the biggest thing, is you try to keep things at work. For me, I'll tell you, I'm a girl dad. So I have a son, but I have four girls,
Yeah,
and
it's full.
I'm a girl dad,
Yeah,
and my wife served in the military for 15 years. So our family dynamic is, I would probably say, as perfect as it's going to get for us. I mean, for me, I know that when I leave, that I'm coming home to girls that are going to scream my name when I walk through that door. You know, so for me, keeping struggles at work is what works best for me. Now, my wife and I may have conversations about, like, when it's just me and her. Hey, how was work today? What did you have going on today? Or whatever the case may be. My advice for people would be to come up with a way for you to decompress every day, every day to decompress, to take that 5 to 10 minutes on your way home, windows down, let the wind hit you, and you talk to yourself or listen to certain musics or podcasts or whatever the case may be, to listen and kind of get it out. Because you got to remember, your struggles or your issues that you have at work are not the same issues that you're going to have at home. Your home needs to be your sanctuary. Your home needs to be the place that you can kind of come and relax and can let it all go. And that's my advice. I'm very big on that. I'm very, very big on that. My wife calls me every day at between 3 and 3:30, and that is my hey, you almost wrapping up. That is my hey, you almost wrap. But it's one of those situations where we love it because we're finally at a place where we miss each other.
Yeah.
When you're just going like that with life, especially when she was in the military, it was hard to do that. Now we're at the position where we miss each other, and it's like I may have struggles at work, and I may talk to people at work. I come home and may discuss it for 10 minutes, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I try to keep work at work and home at home.
Yeah. Well, building those quality relationships as well.
Yes,
All the people, important people in your life. That's
exactly.
who are the leaders in history or in your own life that inspire you most?
Oh wow, man, that's a good question. That's a good question. Um, and you know what? It's probably people that I haven't even told. I'd probably say, for one, my parents. Obviously, they kind of set the foundation. Um, there's a pastor here locally in town, Dr. Frank Smith Jr. Um, he does, and I watch him from afar. But he used to be my pastor, and we're very close at one time. Then kind of got older and kind of went different directions. My wife is an outstanding leader, but she was a chief of the Navy. So it's kind of expected, right? But she's an outstanding leader. So I've learned a great deal from her. Um, and I will say this: I got a group of what we call my brothers, and we're in a group chat. And I can say their names: Harold, Jermaine, Larry, and Jerome.
That's the shout out
And
to.
yeah, and we those are my guys, and we have this remarkable relationship to where we're all in leadership, but we're all in leadership because we have four different personalities. Like we're all four different personalities, right? Um, and nothing goes filtered. Nothing goes filtered. So you know, you, you need people like that. And one of my best friend Craig down in Florida, Nathan and Rashid. I mean Sean. Like these guys are guys that I hold really really dear to me. That and then coaches. Some of my coaching friends, Peter Icehorn. I mean Kenny Rose. I mean these people have shaped me in a way that's like I've take something from them. One of my coaches lost his wife unexpectedly, and their youngest son was there to see it,
Oh,
and he showed up every single day, and he literally has taught me give flowers when the people are here. There's others that have battled their own adversity that I watch them on how they deal with things, how they get through things. Others that are family people that I watch them how they are with their family and kids. It's been a lot of people, but those probably are probably the closest that I would call leaders, um, that I would say have impacted me.
and being prepared to learn from other people seems like it's a big part of your.
Oh yes, oh yeah. I mean, I'm not perfect, right? Like I screw up something every day.
Yeah.
I, but I learn from it, and I try to learn from it, and I hold myself accountable to it. I have a standard. I hold myself to this standard, right? And if I don't meet that standard at the end of the day, something went wrong. Something went wrong. So, but yeah, no, learning from other people is why not be a sponge?
Yeah,
You know,
I agree. That's why I love doing these podcasts because I get to talk to inspiring individuals like yourself. Uh, and it all goes in there, and I'll be thinking about it later as well.
I got you. Yeah, I do the same thing.
And Brandon, how would somebody start working with you right now if they're feeling inspired and they've loved this chat? What would be the first step?
Oh man, they can reach me. They can you can call me or you can email me. My email is bmoore at motivatedmindsconsultingllc.com. Um, or you can you can text me. you can text me, call whatever. But if you want to email me first. I'm on Instagram, Motivated Minds. Yeah, I mean, feel free to reach me. Be more at motivated minds consulting llc.com. And be happy to work with you immediately. Get something going immediately for you.
Yeah. And our signature question, if attention is the currency, what should people stop wasting it on, and what should they start investing it in?
I think they should start. I think they should start paying attention more to time, just time. Because just when you think you have time, you don't have time. But you also don't want to wish your life away. You want to appreciate the time that you have, with the people that you have, and the moments that you have. Because when you appreciate the aspect of time, then you understand when it's time for you to go. Your job title is not going to be buried with you. Your salary is not going to be buried with you. Your type of car is not going to be buried with you. The brand clothes you're not going to be it's not going to be buried with you. Your famous watch is not going to be buried with you. All the things that are replaceable are not going to be with you. Now, what they need to do is stop wasting it on I'm trying to think of the word for it, but like stop wasting on the unrealistic on your unrealistic expectations. You know, because you're setting yourself up.
That's
You know,
perfect.
you're setting
Yeah.
yourself up.
Comparison is the thief of joy, as they say.
Yes, it is. Comparison is the thief of joy. You should never want what somebody else has. You know, I think once they stop doing that and start appreciating time, then that's what they can see a big difference.
Perfect. Brandon Moore shows us that leadership isn't a title, it's a choice you make every day, especially when life gets messy. His work with Motivated Minds Consulting proves that resilience and clarity can be built no matter where you start. You can connect with Brandon, explore his coaching, and see how leadership principles can transform your life. At Motivated Minds Consulting LLC.com. We'll drop the link in the description as well. And
Yeah.
remember, your attention is your most valuable currency. Spend it where it counts. Thank you again, and we'll see you all in the next episode.
Daniel, thank you very much. Have a great one.